All right. Hello, everyone. Chag Sameach. It means happy holidays. We're in the middle of the holiday of Sukkot. And just with such grace, I had the opportunity to sit in a sukkah and to shake the love. And for those that don't know what this means, I'll talk to you a little bit about it first. First, in all ancient traditions, there's this understanding that the practices, the rituals are all deeply metaphorical for these greater impersonal truths about existence. And if we just look at what's called the sod, sort of just like the hidden truths underneath the surface of things, we'll find behind the rituals are these really amazing teachings and almost like breadcrumbs back to ourself, back to our own soul. Let's see how the shadow, it's okay, the shadow's okay. So on the holiday of Sukkot, the Jews basically build these temporary dwelling units and live in them. And, all around the world, Jews practice this. In more religious communities, it's taken very seriously. People actually, they'll eat there, they'll sleep there. And there's an actual commandment in the Torah that says to build for yourselves dwelling places. And it's written just as a way to commemorate that your ancestors lived in temporary units on the road. But what's interesting in the desert when they're traveling to their promised land. But what's interesting about these temporary dwelling places, it's solid. Like you build it, and there's all this talk about how many walls does it need to have. It has a roof. You have to have a roof covering, but also a little bit of space so you can see the stars above you. And you have to eat meals there. You have to sit in there. And it's great to have guests over, to really treat it as if it's your home. So Sukkot is like a 7-day window where Jews all over the world for hundreds of years, several thousand years actually, build these Sukkot, these temporary dwelling structures, and live in them. And even less religious communities, they may not live in them, but every synagogue pretty much builds a sukkah. And they'll have an event, they'll have a meal there, they'll have some kind of gathering there. So I was sitting in the sukkah, and besides for the deep emotional memory of having sat and built a sukkah with my father since I was a child for many years, and it's been several years since I've really been involved deeply in the rituals. So I was feeling that personal quality of familiarity. But I was also just feeling the deep emotional resonance with what the sukkah represents. And this is where I'm inspired to share this teaching. This dwelling unit that's built, it's a solid structure. You live in it, you sleep in it for 1 week. And in so many ways, this is a metaphor for this life. It's like a microcosm of what this life is all about. And you set up shop and you completely do it. It's not half-hearted. You do this thing completely. You live here as if you're here. As opposed to, doing something with the knowledge that, well, you're just going to be here for a little bit, so you're not going to fully commit. Like everything that we do here is with the energy of, well, yeah, this is where I am. This is what's happening here. In fact, most human beings tend to take on the mentality of permanency to the point where we forget how transient this all is. So yeah, we take it seriously, but some of us take it really seriously. Like, this is my home, this is my body, and I'm never going to leave it. I'm never going to die. And so we hold on to life in a way where we forget the greater and the larger truth of who we are. And to me, that's just this awareness and this respect and appreciating this greater understanding of the soul, of what is timeless, of what is existing beyond form, existing beyond the manifestation within the body, within our human experience. And from the level of this eternal soul, we are, in fact, just temporary dwellers here. We come here into this world into these bodies to play out our journeys. And I love how in Sukkot there's such a theme of celebration, the Hayitim Ach Sameach, which is a sort of a commandment that you should be completely happy. Such an interesting one. Rabbi Nachman says that it's mitzvah gedolah liot b'simcha. It's a great deed to be in joy. That's one of the themes of Sukkot, joy. And you just had this imagery of this traveling tribe in these huts, that they're temporary, they're not stable. I mean, they're stable, they're built well, but they're not lasting very long relative to most structures. They're not built out of stone and things like that. But this deep sense of joy and celebration that coincides with that. And so I just want to offer that little dvar, that little reflection for us in thinking of how are we in relation to our dwelling units, our homes, our bodies, all these aspects of our life that we built, that we're creating. We are here to do it. We are here to create it and take it seriously. And to not get lost in this false sense of permanence, because that will create either depression when we feel stuck and defined by our life circumstances. It stifles our infinite self. It stifles our deep freedom. Or it can become a grasping for security of, this is so important. This defines me. I can't let go of it. I need things to be a certain way. Really having the levity of knowing and remembering that this is so temporary. It's like a moment of eternity. It allows us to become less controlling. It allows us to kind of hold more lightness with the things that happen. It's like if you build that sukkah, a temporary dwelling unit, and one of the ceiling decorations fall down, it's not a big deal, right? Take 5 minutes, get a ladder, put up a new decoration, right? Or if you spill some wine on the floor, not a big deal. Figure it out. Find a way to make it clean again. We can have that perspective because we know it's just temporary. It's outside. It's okay if I make a mess. And it's funny how we built all these homes and suddenly outside became inside. And suddenly we have to be really clean and really tidy. But it's all outside. Everything's just outside. But we build these structures and we become so serious about the realities that we've created for ourselves with this projection of profound permanence that we believe we need to control everything. And so we stifle this spontaneous openness that comes when we feel free, that comes when we know we can be at home now. We can live healthy lives, and that we also don't have to do it like this. We can do it like this. Yeah. So happy Sukkot, everyone. May these days be joyful and full of levity and grace and celebration.